The Houston Texans begin 2025 with an increasingly feared defense and an offense completely discredited by the specialized media. But while DeMeco Ryans' system commands respect on the defensive side, one veteran is disappointing. On the other side of the ball, the breakout quarterback of 2023 now needs to prove that he wasn't just a flash in the pan and that the hype didn't fade too soon. If you're a Texans fan or closely following the evolution of this franchise, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and come with me because today the talk is serious. One name needs to deliver more, and another is being unfairly criticized due to pure exaggeration from the critics. If there's one area of the Houston Texans that has been functioning with consistency and impact, it's the defense. Under head coach DeMeco Ryans, the unit has evolved significantly, becoming one of the toughest to play against in the NFL in 2024. But within this adjusted system, there is one piece that has not lived up to the investment made: Denico Autry. Signed in the last free agency cycle with the mission of further elevating the production of the defensive line, Autry arrived surrounded by expectations. At 35 years old, he was coming off a very productive season with the Titans, 50 tackles and 11.5 sacks. In theory, he would bring experience, versatility, and pressure power to an already aggressive defense. In practice, just 13 tackles and 3 sacks in 10 games, that is, when he was available. Autry missed 6 games due to suspension and clearly was not the same player who shined in 2023. The physical decline was somewhat expected, but the impact of his absence on the field and his drop in performance was greater than the team anticipated, so much so that he was widely expected to be cut this offseason. But the Texans have decided to keep him for now, and this is where an alternative with a name and surname emerges: Ogbo Okoronkwo. The pass rusher, recently released by the Cleveland Browns, had his best year precisely in Houston in 2022. That year, he totaled 44 tackles and 5 sacks, standing out as a complementary piece in a system that prioritizes rotation and edge pressure. Since then, he has accumulated 7.5 sacks with the Browns. Decent numbers for a player in a secondary role. Richard Lewis from House of Houston openly advocates for the swap between Autry and Okoronkwo. For him, Ogbo brings energy, knows the Ryan system, and would be more effective in 2025 than Autry. Houston needs multiple effective pass rushers if they want to take the next step. Swapping Autry for Okoronkwo now, before training camp, would be a smart move, he wrote. The logic is not just technical, but also strategic. Does Autry have a higher ceiling? Probably, but he is also older, has an injury history, lost rhythm due to suspension, and is no longer consistent. On the other hand, Okoronkwo could be a cheaper, younger, 30 years old option who has already proven functional in the Ryan system. The question the Texans need to answer is simple. Is it worth insisting on Autry for another year, hoping he regains his physical and mental form, or would it be more productive to cut him early and bet on someone who can deliver energy from week 1? It's worth remembering that the Texans' window is open now. With a young quarterback, rookie contracts still weighing little on the cap, and a strong defense, the team has 2 years at most to pursue a Super Bowl before starting to face more complex salary challenges. Having an ineffective veteran on the defensive line could be costly in January, and DeMeco Ryans knows this. So far, Autry has support from the coaching staff, but if he doesn't show something in training camp, and quickly, his place on the final roster will be at the very least questionable, and with Okoronkwo available on the market, that shadow only grows. Meanwhile, on the offensive side, the situation is the opposite. The team spent the offseason reformulating and strengthening the roster, but the specialized critics decided to lower the bar absurdly. And who is at the center of this discussion? CJ Stroud. From MVP promise in 2023 to a target of exaggerated criticism in 2025. This is CJ Stroud's recent arc, the quarterback of the Houston Texans. After an impressive rookie season, he suffered the infamous sophomore slump in 2024. But let's be honest, there is context, a lot of context. Stroud saw his offensive line crumble with injuries. The receivers, in turn, barely managed to stay on the field. Tank Dell, his main vertical weapon, missed a good part of the year. Even so, Stroud kept the Texans competitive and showed flashes of the talent that earned him the Offensive Rookie of the Year title. Expectations were high, of course, and perhaps that's why the disappointment from some analysts has taken on larger proportions than it should have. A clear example is the offensive ranking published by Kyle Sappe from Pro Football Network. He ranked the Texans offense as the 27th worst in the NFL. Yes, only 5 teams below them, behind even the New England Patriots, who don't even have a defined quarterback. In Sappe's view, the Texans Texans lost their offensive direction in 2024. CJ Stroud's production dropped, Tank Dell got injured, and even with the arrival of Stefon Diggs, the team regressed. Houston was even surpassed by Arizona, which was 22 positions behind the year before. He wrote, "But does this whole downgrade make sense? The offensive group in Houston is far from elite, but there's no ignoring the pieces that have been added. Stefon Diggs is an elite receiver, even in the final stretch of his career. Tank Dell, when healthy, is dynamic. Nico Collins had a breakout year in 2023 and continues to grow, and two promising rookies, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, arrived to deepen the depth chart and offer new alternatives to the playbook. In the backfield, Dameon Pierce needs to regain consistency but has talent, and the offensive line, after so many changes and improvisations in 2024, has been reinforced with strategic signings and the return of injured pieces, including Laramie Tunsil, one of the best LTs in the league. CJ Stroud, for his part, is still one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL when well protected. His pre-snap reads, ability to stay calm under pressure, and performance in big games are rare traits for a player just 23 years old. Yes, 2024 fell short of expectations, but Houston's offensive project is stronger in 2025 than it was the previous year, and ranking this group as 27th is at the very least an evaluation error. More than that, it's fuel for Stroud, and if the Texans can protect their quarterback, keep the receivers healthy, and implement the system fully, not only will the team have an offense better than 27th, but it could be top 10 in offensive production by the end of the year. The Houston Texans are, today, a team with a strong defensive identity, but still seeking total balance. On the defensive front, the patience with Danico Autry could cost productivity in a decisive year, and the opportunity to bring back Ogbo Okoronkwo should not be ignored. On offense, the 27th ranking in the league is simply absurd. CJ Stroud hasn't forgotten how to play, and the offensive pieces are healthier and reinforced. Critics may doubt, but the Texans have everything to prove that 2024 was an exception, not a trend. Question for the fans: do you agree that Danico Autry deserves another chance, or is it time to bring back Ogbo Okoronkwo? And the offense, top 15 or bottom of the league in 2025? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment your opinion down below, and subscribe to the channel to follow the entire journey of the Houston Texans towards another promising season. Until next time.